For over 7 decades, Leica's M series has been synonymous with a particular vision of photography, mechanical purity, simplicity of operation, and an experience rooted in craftsmanship rather than technological excess. From Henry Cartier-Bresson capturing decisive moments with an M3, to modern-day street photographers swearing by the tactile feedback of rangefinder focusing, the M lineage has always represented a philosophy as much as a tool. But Leica has never been afraid of disruption. The original switch from film to digital in the M8, the arrival of live view with the M240, and the recent adoption of high-resolution sensors in the M11 all stirred controversy in their time. Now, in late 2025, Leica seems ready to release what may become the most divisive M camera yet, the Leica M11-V. According to industry leaks, the M11-V will not just tweak details, it will fundamentally reshape how photographers interact with a digital M, by removing one of the system's defining features and replacing it with a bold alternative. Leica is daring its loyalists to reimagine what an M camera can be. At the same time, it is positioning the M11-V as a more accessible entry point into the lineup, though Leica's definition of affordability is sure to spark debate. Let's break down everything we know: the leaked specs, the release timeline, the pricing strategy, and examine why this camera is creating waves across the photography world even before its official announcement. A radical departure, goodbye rangefinder, hello F. The headline change is impossible to ignore. For the first time in M series history, Leica is reportedly abandoning the traditional optical rangefinder in favor of a built-in electronic viewfinder (EF). This is seismic. The optical rangefinder has always been the soul of the M, its defining characteristic, the reason people choose an M over countless other cameras. With the M11-V, Leica is breaking that chain of continuity, replacing the iconic dual-window focusing system with a 5.76 million EVF on a 0.5-inch panel. Key details: resolution, 5.76 meters dots magnification, 0.76x diopter adjustment, included digital focusing aids, focus peaking, magnification, and potentially other software assists. From a technical perspective, an EVF offers many advantages. Critical focusing becomes easier, especially with fast lenses at wide apertures. Exposure preview reduces guesswork. Parallax issues vanish, as you are seeing exactly what the sensor sees. But from a cultural perspective, this is a schism. Many M purists see the rangefinder as integral to the entire philosophy of the system, a stripped-down, distraction-free way of seeing the world. The removal of the rangefinder might be perceived not as evolution, but as betrayal. Leica seems to know this will split the community. In fact, they appear to be leaning into that divisiveness, marketing the M11-V as a different kind of M, one that acknowledges modern demands without abandoning core values like build quality, still photo purity, and tactile design. Design overhaul. Minimalist but polarizing Leica cameras are as much design objects as they are functional tools, and the M11-V reflects bold changes to the familiar M form. No ISO dial, the traditional physical dial on the top plate, has been removed. Instead, exposure control leans more on menus and buttons, signaling a cleaner, sleeker design language. No rangefinder window, the iconic windows on the camera's front essential for the optical focusing system are gone. For some, this makes the camera look less Leica. For others, it represents a more purposeful modern minimalism. Function lever. A new lever sits where the rangefinder mechanism used to be, designed to control EVF settings quickly while shooting. Signature materials. German build quality remains intact, with a diamond pattern leatherette grip and robust mount compatibility. The visual effect is striking, an M that looks simultaneously familiar and foreign, stripped of some of its most recognizable features yet still unmistakably a Leica. Under the hood, familiar power with strategic limitations at its core, the M11-V shares much of the DNA of the standard M11 and M11P. Sensor, 60MP full-frame CMOS processor, Maestro 3. Internal storage, 64GB down from 256GB on the M11P. Shooting philosophy, still photo only, with absolutely no video features. This last point is critical. And like Sony, Canon, or Nikon, which produce hybrid machines designed to excel in both photo and video, Leica doubles down on its philosophy. The M is a photographic instrument, not a hybrid device. If you want video, look elsewhere. The reduction in internal memory could be interpreted as cost-saving, but for most users 64 GB is sufficient as a safety buffer when shooting with SD cards. Release date. A strategic holiday push timing is everything in the luxury goods market, and Leica seems to be aligning the M11-V launch with maximum seasonal impact. Official announcement expected October 2025, first units shipping, late Q for 2025, likely December. This staggered release is typical of Leica long teasers, limited initial runs, and a scarcity that fuels desirability. By targeting the holiday season, Leica positions the M11-V not only as a tool but also as the ultimate aspirational gift. It also means Leica will go head-to-head with upcoming releases from Canon, Sony, and Nikon. Whether the M11-V can hold its own in that competitive window will depend less on technical superiority and more on brand prestige. Price. Leica's boldest move, yet perhaps the most controversial detail, is the pricing strategy. US price range $7,200, $7,800. EU price range €7,000, €7, 500. Yes. Leica calls this an entry-level M11 variant. In any other context, a nearly $8,000 camera would be anything but entry-level. Yet within Leica's hierarchy, it is indeed positioned below the standard M11 $8,295 at launch and the M11-V $9,100. This move reveals two things about Leica's thinking. 1. They're creating a ladder. The M11-V becomes the gateway. Leica, still premium, but slightly less so, designed to attract those who hesitate at the $9,000 barrier. They're ignoring the competition. Sony, Canon, and Nikon offer far more technically advanced cameras with video, autofocus, eye-driven features at equal or lower prices. Leica's bet is that their customers don't care. They're buying the Leica philosophy, not spec sheets. This pricing will inevitably spark heated debate. Is Leica delusional for calling $7,500 an entry point? Or are they genius in understanding that their clientele doesn't think in conventional value terms? Leica's long game photography as luxury. To understand the M11-V, you have to understand Leica's business model. And like mass market brands, Leica isn't chasing volume. It's chasing exclusivity. Where Canon might want to sell millions of EOS bodies, Leica is content with tens of thousands, provided those units carry high margins and reinforce its status as a luxury brand. In this sense, Leica is closer to Rolex or Hermes than to Sony or Nikon. The M11-V fits perfectly into this strategy: fewer features, higher price. It deliberately avoids video, avoids autofocus wizardry, and avoids the race to spec sheet dominance. Craftsmanship over convenience. Every limitation becomes a feature, every design omission a philosophical stance. Community buy-in. Owning a Leica isn't just about owning a camera, it's about belonging to a culture that values slow photography, intentionality, and artistry. The M11-V, then, is less about competing with mirrorless flagships and more about declaring that Leica is charting its own course. What it means for photographers. Leica M11-V is not a camera for everyone. In fact, it's not even meant to be. Leica is unapologetic about this. For some photographers, the M11-V will represent everything wrong with modern luxury branding: high prices for fewer features, a design that breaks tradition, and a pricing strategy that feels disconnected from reality. For others, it will be a revelation, a Leica that blends modern focusing tools with traditional craftsmanship, priced just enough below the M11-V to feel attainable. Ultimately, the M11-V forces photographers to confront a larger question: what do we really value in our tools? Do we want ultimate capability, or do we want an experience, something tactile, imperfect, but meaningful? Conclusion: the future of the M series, whether the Leica M11-V succeeds or fails, will say a great deal about the direction of photography as a whole. If it resonates, it will confirm Leica's gamble that there is a strong market for cameras that strip down features while raising prices, positioning photography as a luxury experience rather than a mass market pursuit. If it stumbles, it could suggest that even Leica cannot escape the gravitational pull of modern expectations, that customers want more capability for their money, not less. Either way, the M11-V is not just another camera release. It is a statement about tradition, about luxury, about the evolving meaning of photography in an age of technological abundance. And in true Leica fashion, it's already doing what the brand does best, sparking conversation, dividing opinion, and making the act of photography feel a little more like art.